Alright, love. The history of British TV is kind of interesting, especially compared to places like America. We didn't really have cable TV. Most people had what came through their TV aerial, which is usually hiding in the attic somewhere. And these were BBC 1 and 2, which were funded through the TV licence, which is a licence that every person in the UK had to pay, even if they didn't watch TV. Well, they didn't have to pay the TV licence, but they made it seem like you had to pay the TV licence if you had a TV. And they really enforced that quite heavy-handedly, and still do, in fact. I'm still paying my TV licence, and I don't actually watch BBC 1 or 2, or iPlayer. It's just, I'll get harassing letters for the post if I don't. Then we had ITV and Channel 4, and then later we had Channel 5. And these were very different channels, and I would say that Channel 4 was more my sort of TV. They had a number of US imports, such as Friends and things like that. But it also had some very strange comedy shows. And the one I'm talking about today is TV Offal. It ran for 6-ish episodes that ran between October 97 and June 1998. It was created by Victor Lewis Smith and his writing partner Paul Sparks. Now, unfortunately, Victor Lewis Smith passed away late last year. He worked on some TV shows in between the 90s up until 2005-ish, and then he went on to be a producer and a writer for newspapers and magazines. Seen as quite a controversial figure, he was subject to some legal action, which doesn't surprise me whatsoever. But this particular TV show, TV Offal, is something that's really interested me back in the day, and I've not seen it again until very recently when I found that someone's put the episodes up on YouTube, which you can find by searching on YouTube. Now, I'm looking at this from a perspective of, could these TV shows be shown today? Could anyone get away with showing this on British TV, like on Channel 4 now? I think we know the answer to that already, just on the basis of the name TV Offal, but I thought we'd have a quick look at what TV Offal was and how each episode was structured, and we can just decide for ourselves if would this ever be shown on TV now. As an aside, I want to see what we can get away with on YouTube. I don't think anyone putting out this type of content on any platform today would be accepted. And so I'm not saying this is my content or that I agree with this content, but I think it's an interesting look into how things were different back in the 90s, before we had internet streaming services like YouTube, and what people could get away with in comedy. I would say TV Offal was the one that was extremely close to the acceptable, unacceptable line. The clips I'm going to show in this video are the nicer clips that I can find from this show.
Hello, welcome to Professor Stephen Hawking's TV Offal. Sing along with me as I give you my impersonation of Pavarotti performing Nessun Dorma. Off, off. Nessun Dorma!
Get off, Hawking! Roll the titles!
It got a lot worse, and I'm not gonna push it. But taking out the offensiveness and immaturity, I would say that this kind of humour inspired me with my attempt at comedy. Also, people like Charlie Brooker, who went on to create Black Mirror, he's acknowledged that this TV show and this particular Victor Lewis Smith character were big inspirations for his work on things like Streamwipe and his other TV shows. So I think we can take the ideas from things like this, but the actual content, not so much. Each episode of TV Offal had regular segments which would often appear in each episode, at least once per episode. One of the segments is Honest Obituary, where Victor Lewis Smith would report on a celebrity's death. A death that hasn't happened at that time, and it's completely fake. So
It was only this week that Andrew Lloyd Webber was filmed doing what he loved best, composing at the piano while simultaneously working out how much money each note would make him.
29 million!
Here's an example of that featuring Jeremy Clarkson.
Some called him arrogant, loud-mouthed, testosterone-crazed and vain. Others described him as a human soap on a rope with brute aftershave for blood. His critics were less generous. Most memorably, he once telephoned the police to report the theft of his radio, his dashboard, and even his gear stick. It later emerged that he'd failed to realise he'd been sitting in the back seat. Clarkson's first TV appearance, age 11, was on Southern Television's programme My Ambition, where he asked to be a crash test dummy. This ambition was fulfilled, and Clarkson became a professional test dummy until he retired at the age of 25. The resultant brain damage led, naturally, to local radio, and from there to network television.
So yeah, I don't think that's something that would be possible now. That's technically fake news. And there's been a number of fake celebrity deaths reported on the internet that make the news, so, you know, probably not something to make light of anymore, apart from when you're doing a highlight clip show about TV Offal. So that's my excuse. Another segment that made a regular appearance was Kamikaze Karaoke, where Victor Lewis Smith would recreate a song by an artist in the way that he hears it.
And this is how he now sounds to me.
And it seemed to me you lived your life like a candle. Got to know you, but I was lost again. Your candle burned out long before your legend ever did.
Don't get me wrong, I've got nothing against gays. I mean, some of my best friends are gay until I'm murdered.
You can find content like Kamikaze Karaoke on YouTube quite regularly. It's known as Shreds, or YouTube Shreds. And the premise of that is it's a music video or a live performance of an artist or a band, but you only hear what you can see. I quite enjoy these, but I don't think anyone would say that they're offensive in any way. Another thing that you can probably find on YouTube is YouTube poop.
Did you ask me a question? There's no question.
I don't think this is something that is as popular now as it used to be, but this is just people mashing up content and videos from TV shows in ridiculous ways. I've done one myself, but I can't find it. I think it was removed, which says a lot about the quality of the content I made. But the one I made was an episode of the TV show Friends. Less said about it, the better, I guess. Another segment was Assassination of the Week. I will not show any of this, because I'm not entirely sure if it is true or not. Without going into deep research into each subject, I don't really want to do that. Something else the TV show regularly did was make fun or make light of other TV shows and other TV networks, in fact. Now, back in the start of television, like in the 60s and 70s, there were a lot of local TV networks or TV stations, sometimes run by hospitals or schools. I don't think this is really a thing anymore. This is when people were just starting to discover what television was and how you can make use of television to entertain or inform. The technology wasn't quite there, but people tried anyway. And TV Offal often made fun of these early attempts at television.
Affects a highly excited voice. For years, viewers have argued over what was the dullest programme ever broadcast. Some say it was Milton Keynes' Planning and Development, The Facts.
Milton Keynes Development Corporation was set up to plan Milton Keynes.
TV Offal can settle the argument once and for all by showing you this never-before-aired pilot. The development of the test card.
Hello. For the next hour or so, we're going to be talking about the development and production of TV test cards.
Even if the presenter's dull, at least his guest will be exciting.
I did 30 years in the BBC. I joined them in 1949.
Exciting? Perhaps not. Here is living proof of why TV engineers are not usually allowed to appear on camera. It's for the best. It is. It's for the best.
The local council say you're the best road sweeper they've ever had. Why do you think this is?
I don't know. I don't know. No better than any others, I suppose.
Did you enjoy your job?
All right. It kept me exercising.
So yeah, things like those segments would be fine. I think they're quite entertaining, and, you know, I think it's fun to look back on stuff like that. However, One thing I don't think we'll be able to do now is a segment such as the Gay Daleks, where two Daleks who are... I don't really need to explain this one.
They're camp! They exterminate! Better watch your backs! It's the Gay Daleks!
It's time for another adventure with the shirt-lifting Pepperpots as they ram their way into Saturn's ring in their planet-hopping toilet, the Turdus.
Here's the pizza delivery boy, you dirty cow slapper. Queen, enough of this. I have been having an affair, but with whom? With our vacuum cleaner.
It's wrong on so many levels. There was even an attempt to make a Gay Daleks animated series, which was blocked by the Terry Nation estate. Terry Nation being the person who created the Daleks, basically. Not surprised. How was it even possible then to use such a symbolic figure in a TV show like this? I don't know. It's bizarre, but it happened. And these were shown on Channel 4 on a weekly basis, so... The majority of episodes of TV Offal ended with a prank call, where Victor Lewis Smith would call up a celebrity and prank them.
A garden fete, an old woman and some root vegetables.
Tell me more, please.
Oh, I'll tell you more, Mr. Winner, I'll tell you more. Does the name Portmeirion mean anything to you?
I've never been to Portmeirion in my life.
All right, I've got the wrong man then. Sorry, I knew it could have been you because you do too much good for society.
Well, I think that I help a lot of people.
You're all right, we don't hear.
Again, not sure if any of this is real, if these are actual prank calls, but judging by the fact that these people aren't listed in the credits of each TV episode, I wouldn't be surprised if they were real prank calls. Again, I don't think we can get away with that anymore. I haven't tried for a while. Another regular feature of TV Offal was the use of old TV commercials, presented completely intact and without additional content. And these were advertisements that were shown on TV in the 50s, 60s, that just haven't aged very well.
Shopping used to really depress me. I used to think if only I could keep to a diet. Then I heard about AIDS and tried them. You don't eat so much at meals, and I didn't want fattening things. I enjoy shopping now because I can wear fashionable clothes. Thank goodness for AIDS.
And there's also a song in each episode. It's listed here as satirical song in the 80s genre. To be honest, the song's pretty good. Like, it serves a purpose and it works very well. But they would make fun of celebrities such as Sir David Attenborough, Chris Evans, Carol Vorderman.
A girl with a science degree who's never, ever, ever off our TV. It's nice being Carol. She's queen of physics with a great physique. It's nice being Carol. She makes men of a certain age go weak.
And each one of these would end with the line,
Shall we not stop? 'Cause our lawyer says that Carol will sue.
So could a TV show like this go out today on Channel 4? No, absolutely not. Could it be done on YouTube? Well, I think some of it is done on YouTube, but maybe not in a comedic sort of way. There are many fringe communities on YouTube and other services like this where some of these views might be actual and put out legitimately. And now we live in a time of cancel culture. I just don't think that this would actually happen anymore. And I don't even think reruns of this, like if Channel 4 decided to show these now, I think they'd have to be heavily edited before they go out. I've had to edit these down to find the most borderline content because it gets a lot worse than this. And not just in terms of language, just very bad taste comedy. And when I rewatched these last weekend, even I was very uncomfortable at certain points, so it hasn't aged well. But as a time capsule, to see what lines we were pushing back in the 90s, I think it's really interesting. And if you can stomach it, go and watch the episodes for yourself and form your own opinion. You know, thank you for watching this video where I talk ineptly about a TV show from the 90s. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel and press that like button. If you were around to see this when it first aired, let me know in the comments. Or if you know of anything that is similar to this, that is more recent, let me know as well, because So I'd like to look more into this sort of comedy. Not to steal ideas. You know, yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.